Okay, everyone, thank you for taking the time to join me on this podcast session. Really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
I would love to do a quick introduction around the table. Start with you, Tristan.
I'm Tristan. I'm one of the software developers here.
Excellent. How long you been with the company?
Around 7 years at this point.
Excellent. Over there.
I'm Ben. I am currently the support manager, but I also manage the infrastructure and stuff like that as well.
Been with the company
6 and a bit years.
Excellent.
I'm Pav. I'm the head of client success, and I've been here around 10 years.
Excellent. All right. Thanks again, guys. We want to talk about a couple of interesting topics. One is live bands in Australia. It's a topic that is very close to Pav's heart, and Tristan, understand, loves live bands as well. We're going to mix it. We're going to do a bit of a work and a bit of fun. And so that's one of the topics. But we want to start with the work topic, I guess. And that's something that we're going through as a company right now. We've had amazing people in the support team who have been doing a great job so far, especially when we were a startup. And, you know, as a typical startup company, there's a lot of turmoils and things going wrong and stuff. And they've been versatile to really accommodate the needs of the company so far. Nothing short of heroic. But now that we are started to, in the last couple of years, started to work with companies, 10,000 employees and 15,000 employees, we started to feel that we could do a little bit better on the customer service aspect of the support team. And that is really, I know that sounds a bit of an interesting statement. That is exactly what the topic is going to be. What's the difference between customer service and support, or tech support, if any? And what are the type of people that would be attracted and are perfect for either of these roles? The characteristic of the person, the career progression of that person, their ambitious, etc. Ambitions, I meant to say, yeah. So that's really the topic we'll start with. Maybe we'll start with Ben as the head of support so far at Recruit Plus. Ben, what's in your mind when you say, you know, we want a customer service person? What kind of person do you think would be attracted to this role, and why would they work for Recruit Plus? What would it mean for them in terms of learning and career progression?
Well, I think like just in terms of the type of person that it is, it's, you know, it's not necessarily the technical aspect of it that's, you know, the side point to it. If they have it, it's bonus. It's basic. It's the big bit would just be the ability to have like empathy with the clients, so that when they're having an issue and, you know, maybe it's stressing them out, they feel that the person that they're in genuinely cares and is like going to do everything they can to actually help them, whether or not that's right now over the phone or if it has to be go to another team. I think that's probably the single biggest part of it. Is just their ability to connect with the clients. And
okay, let's keep going like one layer of the onion at a time. We'll go, you know, a minute in a sense each, and we keep going in circles, drilling into this. So Pav, I got what Ben is saying. Now, how about, you know, so one thing is dealing with the clients and saying they are fantastic and they would love, in other words, they are the advocates for the clients. They want everything ideally to be solved within a minute, everything to be perfect. But when it comes to who's going to be doing the work, they need to deal with the tech support people, with the developers, etc., the level 2 support to get things done. They need to follow up. They need to make sure to say, where is that, guys? This is late. What's going on? So it takes more than just someone who's just genuinely a good customer service person. It takes project management. It takes a bunch of different things, I guess. Could you speak to that, please?
Yeah, 100%. So time management is hugely important. That initial triage, being able to know what's coming in from who, what the nature of it is, like the severity, and being able to look at that and go, okay, well, this clearly needs to happen first. And then not necessarily, as you said, having all the technical skills.
How can they do triage if they don't know the product?
Well, they have to know
or the tech, or is it just the product knowledge, not the tech knowledge? Is that maybe what Ben was saying?
Well, you got to know the product. You have to, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, 100%. I'm sorry, and you're right. But, you know, Ben was saying they don't need to be technical, and you said that as well. So is that remains the case? The product doesn't mean they need to be technical, or is it sort of borderline? There's an overlap between all those.
Look, it's advantageous if they have some sort of technical inkling. I don't think it's a prerequisite, right? Because as you're going through, like I wasn't overly technical when I started, right? And I spent some time in support. You learn as you go.
It's true.
The product is so intuitive now that you probably don't need it, admittedly, but it doesn't hurt. I mean, if you're getting some sort of weird thing happen, and you've got a little bit of a technical aptitude, you can look at it and go, well, it might be this.
So I guess what you're saying makes sense, and maybe we'll jump to Tristan. As I said, we'll keep moving. So Tristan, it seems to be we're saying here there's technical, so to speak, meaning how the product is built, and there's how the product works. And I think Pav has a good point. Our HR users don't know anything technical, and they love it and they understand how to use it. So maybe that's what they need. If they understand the product and they have that kind of empathy, then it's going to be okay. What do you think?
Ideally, yeah. In an ideal world, if my team does their job properly, the way it's built will also reflect how
your team is
the
in the
developers.
The developers.
My fellow developers. If we do our job properly, the way it's built will reflect on how people use it as well. So they don't need to know any technical details to sort of understand it.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So if something goes wrong, say I don't know, a feature's not working, like e-forms or something. They shouldn't have to know, because that's not working, this won't work either. Some other thing, so carry-on effects and stuff like that. They shouldn't have to worry about that because the system should be built in such a way that it should just make sense. So it's like e-forms that can modularized in its own section, etc., and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So
knowing, I use that term for whatever it's worth, whether you agree or not. You've got the distinction between how it's built versus what it does.
Correct.
Knowing the product versus how it's built. And you believe, guys, I'll go for another round on all that. Continue with yourself, Tristan. We are saying so far, you believe they don't need to know how the product is built to be that customer service that is able, and that is the interesting thing, that is able to do enough of diagnosis to understand the priority and the severity of the issue.
Correct. Yeah, I would say that, and not only would they not need to, they shouldn't have to. You know what I mean?
That's interesting.
Kind of critical point. As you said, it should be advantageous, but it's definitely something they shouldn't have to know or need to know to be able to diagnose.
As a company, we want to be like that.
Correct.
That's where we need to be. You're right.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to know how posting works to know that when it's broken, that's a big thing to go and kick up a storm about.
Explain that when you say posting.
So it's just like something happens and I can't post my ads anymore to Seek and Indeed and stuff. That's obviously a very core reason why people use the software. So I don't need to know that, it's broken because it's throwing a back-end error or just the front end's broken.
Or why it's broken.
Or why it's even broken at all. It's just the fact that I know it's broken and now I can go and talk to other people.
This functionality, this feature is key to the value proposition, and therefore it's a priority A, whatever. Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to, right? So the product knowledge and, as you were saying, sort of the empathy, the understanding it from the client's perspective, but also being a bit business savvy, knowing that, okay, well, we need to do this to do our job. And if something like that is broken, that needs to be all hands on deck to fix it.
Okay.
So, if someone's calling up saying, this icon isn't displaying, that's not going to be critical. But if you can't post ads, then business stops, then people should get up and do something.
What you said is interesting there, and I think the guys have been saying it too, so I'm not insulting anybody's intelligence, but what you're saying is not only knowledge of the product, knowledge of the product from the client's perspective. This is how you would appreciate the severity of an issue. You need to understand the industry, the space, the problem that we solve, the productivities that we create to those teams to know the impact of a particular problem potentially on that team, on those teams, Interesting. But that is still all in connection to what we are saying in a complementary way to what we're saying, meaning still they don't need to know about how the product is built and therefore what caused this feature to have stopped, as long as we know the impact, if that feature is not working, the impact on the business, on those teams.
Right. I mean, it's like we said, advantageous to us because it'll make, I'm guessing, the developer's job easier. They know where to start looking. But that's really it, right?
So what type of person, if we have these amazing ambitions to, that's the second time, to have this person or team of customer service people that have got amazing high standards to be the advocates for the clients, demand better service for the clients from the company all the time. So can you find those people? And, it's a software IT company. People think they're going to be doing IT stuff. Is there a person that is not interested in IT? That's what they want to build for a career. Does that even exist? I'm sorry, we've never hired someone like that before. I genuinely don't know.
I don't know either. I'll be honest with you. But I think what we're trying to hire for is probably we're trying to put a person in there that's a bit out of the mold. Like, we don't want just someone who's going to be great with people. We want someone that's going to grow. We want someone that might, develop into wanting to learn more about the tech side, or they may want to go more into the business analysis side, or they may want to, there's a million different avenues they can follow within our organisation. But what we nailed it.
We need to solve the problem of customer service. Where you're saying we don't want someone to. I mean, yes, they're great to move. We say that to everybody. It's that part of the attraction.
Progress. Everybody wants to progress.
But that's what I mean. Progress in what they do is one thing, but to move into another thing will still end up with that problem. We have a hole that we continue need to fill. Is that a good or bad? Because we've always said everybody should start in support. Is that still the same thing?
Yes, absolutely.
We keep bringing a stream of...
Spend some time in the trenches.
Yeah. Because you're not going to get that experience with our product without being there in the trenches, as you said, Tristan.
Still not convinced. Still think customer service... See, that's the tech support thing. The customer service, I mean, maybe you're right. The customer service can become a salesperson. Why not? Can we go to marketing? Yeah, sure.
You've said this a bunch of times to us. I'm pretty sure it was you. It sounds like something you would say. Is like, give me a person with their heart in the right place and we'll make it work. Everything else we can make work. And it's true. You put someone in that position that genuinely cares about the clients and the business, like our business and clients. Yeah, I know. You're very profound sometimes. I'll give it to you. So, yeah, and I think that's spot on. Get someone with the right attitude, with their heart in the right place, and you can teach them everything. They're going to start entry level. We say entry level. It's not exactly an easy gig, but, and then they learn from there. And
the gig is the next topic, but yes.
Well, yeah.
I got that.
We'll get there too.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Very, very, very interesting. And that whole set of skills to be able to work with the internal stakeholders to make sure we can be the best company we can, meaning the internal transformations and changes, and to be able to be the person that is the trigger, the catalyst for those changes in order for us to get to that level of customer service that we need to be. What does it take for what kind of person, what kind of attitude or skills or personality traits?
I think a really big one is just always having sort of confidence in just what your opinion is on a matter. Like, we don't want people who just sort of want to say just yes, especially if it's in when the advocates for the client side of the business as well. Half the time you'll be against what the product team wants to do because you'll be like, amazing new features, but you're like, hold on, there's this thing that's still in version 1 and needs to go to version 2. People are still waiting for that. So that's, a really core feature of what that sort of roles are.
Just think anything comes to mind, personality traits maybe? I know you're not a psychologist, but...
It's interesting because being a developer, I'm sort of somewhat disconnected from this bit.
What, people?
I mean, obviously.
I begrudge you nothing.
No, that's why I picked this career. No, just that usually by the time, say, requirements get to me, it's gone through several layers of the business already.
Okay.
So this bit, sometimes I'm involved further up the chain, but so this aspect on like the very front end, very, very front end, I guess, just high tolerance, I suppose, for conflicting personalities, I suppose. Like, you're going to deal with some irate people some of the time. Like, their business is at risk, potentially.
Okay.
They're going to be pissed off. You're going to have to be able to deal with that. Like, 100% in a calm way. and reassure them. That's an empathy thing coming back.
I mean, they can get angry on behalf of the client as well,
Sure.
as long as
Yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
angry at the client.
Yeah, yeah,
Correct,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
We want
the
someone-
second part. Yep.
Yeah.
We want someone that's going to bring that energy that they've received internally and set the room on
Yeah.
fire and go, what
That's
are we
it.
doing?
That's it.
Like,
That's the part, to be honest, the point was about, but
Sure.
just as relevant, Tristan. Thank you. So, do you want to speak to that? Yeah. How can they be that catalyst that's really invoking, triggering the change for us to improve as a company on customer service?
I mean, it keeps coming back to what Ben says. It's the empathy piece, right? So if somebody calls you and they're irate, and you got to realize they're not angry at you. You got to look at that and go, okay, well they can't run their business, or a key function within their business or team isn't working.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that piss you off? Yeah, it would piss me off. So I would take that energy and go, okay, well, Mr. Client, leave it with me. I totally understand where you're coming from. I can see the problem. And then internally and pass that message along with the degree of force required,
Okay.
which isn't really much for us. I mean, we understand better than most what needs to be done.